All right, so we are beginning up with our session, that is knowledgeable integrating session. Driving business growth with advanced data analytics and business intelligence. We already have our key speakers joining in. Dr. Salahuddin Almohammadi, Group IT Director from HSA Group. Can we have a big round of applause for him? Mohammad Shooqur, Senior Data Science Manager from National Bank of Kuwait. Can we have a big round of applause for him and have him on the stage? Ahmed Samir Elons, Director of Data and AI, iScore, Egyptian Credit Bureau. Can we have a big round of applause for him? Komal, Chheda, Senior Manager Data Analytics, DAMAC Properties. Can we have a big round of applause for her and have her on the stage? So energy is less. Can we have a big round of applause for them? So we have Saurabh, SVP and Global Head for Data Analytics Tech Mahindra. Can we have a big round of applause for him? And our moderator of the session, Mahmoud Allam, CEO, IT and Digital Transformation Consultant from Upward Technologies. Can we have a big round of applause for him? So over to you, Mahmoud.
Thank you all. Let's enjoy this session. I think inshallah it will be very thoughtful and we will enjoy the discussion with these engineers and gentlemen. I would like to start with Dr. Salahuddin. Welcome, Doctor. I want to ask you, based on your long experience in the field, how do you define DNA?
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy with my colleagues to insight our experience and knowledge in data analytics. And it's good to start with such question before deep dive in the discussion about data analytics technology. Before going to the definition, let us put data analytics technology in the context of digital transformation. As you know, data analytics is one catalyst that digital transformation technology, in addition to cloud computing, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, blockchain, etc. And this aim to add value to the business by growing revenue, reducing cost, in mitigating risks, increasing people effectiveness, and improving process efficiency. Now, what is what is data analytic technology? There are many definitions. Gartner defined data analytics, PwC defined it, KPMG, all big consultancy company have its own data analytics definition, and I also come up with my personal data analytics definition, which I named it 7 R's data analytic definition. R here refer to the first character of right word, which was repeated 7 times in the definition. Now, data analytics is the right technology that helps right people to get right insights based on right data, making right decision at right time based on right data stored at right place. These are the 7 R's of data analytics definition from business perspective, actually, not from technical. This is in brief the data analytics definition, and I'm sure that my colleague will add more information about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, a lot for this definition. I think it's very helpful to understand and make boundaries about this question. So the second one, I want to ask Engineer Komal about how can business ensure that the insight driven from the data analytics are actionable and aligned with the strategic business objectives, rather than just generating data for data collection. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. What I believe is when you want to drive data-driven decisions and align it with your strategic goals for business, it is very important that you focus on 4 key principles. One of them would be to ask the right questions. It is very important that you ask the right questions, and the questions do not have to be very broad. More often people get lost in asking questions like, how can I increase my sales? What would I recommend is you narrow down your scope and ask a very basic question like, which product line can I focus to increase maybe 5 or 10% sale next quarter? You build on the small questions and you climb the ladder to actually achieve your strategic goals. Or there will be just so much data to analyze, you'll get lost in it. The second thing I would recommend is bridge the gap between your insights and actions. More often, we create so many reports in the organization, and those reports are just lying around, one-off reports, standing with some business or operations. What I would suggest is embed your insights into day-to-day decision-making. Make sure your workflows are written in a way that they derive actions and they are in hands of the decision makers who can actually drive actionable insights on top of it. For example, let's say if I'm running 5 marketing campaigns, I should be able to see the trends, day-to-day trends of those marketing campaigns, and I should be able to drive real-time decision that which campaigns to shut down, which campaigns are doing too well, or switch and swap as and when the need commands. The third thing I would say is establish a feedback loop. More often, we create so many analytics and data products, reports, etc. What we forget to do is review and reassess how many of these products worked well and worked in, which model that I created in the past is actually doing well, or what can I do more to achieve better results and continuous improvement for the feedback loop. It is very important to establish that feedback loop, which will help you fine-tune your analytics. So what I call this, you basically identify the relevance, realize your actions, and review what you have done, which will go a long way in actually aligning to your strategic goals in small bits of pieces.
Thank you, amazing. I think we need to add more R here. It's a right question, so we have additional R here. Thank you so much. Engineer Saurabh, how organizations should go about defining and designing the data strategy for an AI first world?
All right. So I'll first try to, while he has defined data analytics in a certain way, just for everyone's understanding, let's think of data analytics as a value chain, just like we think of any other business as a value chain, right? So you start from the left, you go to the right. On the left, you have data coming in from various enterprise applications, whether it's ERP, CRM, core banking, operations, anything, right? There are multiple enterprise apps from where data comes into a central place. What used to be data warehouse, then it was big data ecosystem. Now you have data lake, now you have data lake houses, and so on. So all the data comes there. A lot of things happen there. So data management, data governance, data transformation, there are multiple things that take place there, and then that data is served for consumption, right? And when we talk about data is served for consumption, this is where actually all the change has happened, okay? If you look at the last 40 years, all this data was primarily focused on generating reports, like Komal was talking about, generating different dashboards, reports for CXOs, different business units, and so on. And I'm talking about all the way from 1980s till now. That was the reason why data warehouses were originally created. Today, when we talk about serving data, the same data platform has to serve data for AI and ML, right? The traditional, the classic ML, machine learning algorithms. And now, starting last year and going forward, now you have Gen AI in the picture. So earlier, where there was just one consumer of data as such, which was BI dashboard reporting, today, now you have 3 consumers, and this is only going to grow. At some point in time, maybe 5 years down the line, you will also have quantum, for which also the data will be served from the same location, right? Now, coming to the question, which is about how do you design data strategy in an organization for an AI-first world, right? And while the question may seem simple, it's fairly loaded. So first thing is the data team itself has to change its mindset. Because if I pick up a data architect today, if I pick up a data engineer, and think about your data teams in your organizations, right? You have, within the IT organization, there must be a data team sitting somewhere, and then there must be an analytics team sitting somewhere else. And now you have AI teams which sit everywhere, right? I mean, with the business units, in the central unit, and so on. If I pick up a data architect or a data engineer and I ask them about this whole value chain from data ingestion, management, transformation, and serving, they will be very comfortable talking about the first value chain, where the data is brought in and taken to the BI and reporting and dashboard layer. But the moment I tell them, okay, now you know what, I want to use this data for GenAI use cases, which means they will have to bring in vector databases into the picture, they will have to bring in RAG into the picture. So data engineering is now extended. And suddenly they will start getting very uncomfortable and they will say, you know what, this is AI team's problem. Same thing happened 5 years ago when we were talking about machine learning and ML ops and everything, where beyond a point, the data engineers and data architects, they were like, you know what, we will give this data to them, then data scientists will take care of it. Look, and you know, we keep talking about why AI, ML, and now GenAI has not advanced beyond POC stage. I think this is one of the core reasons why it has not scaled. We do POCs, we pick some data, do a POC, it looks good and everything is fine, but this value chain is not working seamlessly, which means the data team does something and then it hands over to the AI team or to the Gen AI team. That's not how it's going to work. So when we are designing data strategy for an AI-first world, first of all, we have to look at this value chain in its entirety. AI, Gen AI, BI, reports, dashboards, APIs, everything is a part of this value chain, right? Now, whether you take this data towards AI or you shift AI, Gen AI towards data, I mean, that is a strategy every organization can look at. But if these 2-3 teams look at themselves as individualistic teams within an organization that, you know what, we are data scientists, we will only do something when we get data, or we are Gen AI engineers and we will only do prompt engineering, that silo will not work. So data strategy has to take into account the entire value chain from where data is coming, what is happening with it, and where is it being used. A simple question that, and I'll finish with this, you know, we all talk about responsible AI, okay? I have a simple question to ask you. In your organization, who is responsible for responsible AI? Is it the AI team, Gen AI team, or the data team? Because the problem starts from data, but the data team can always say, you know what, I don't know what model they created. They have created the RAG and LLMs and all that. I don't know what they have done. So please, so that is, I'm sure all of you come from different organizations, all of you are moving in this direction. Just ensure that this whole picture is looked at, rather than, you know, just some use cases. So that's, I mean, I know a little longish, but I hope conveyed the message.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. Engineer Mohammad, please, what should be the successful operating model for developing artificial intelligence technology to a scale in a heavy regulated enterprise like finance service industry?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I think you strategically placed the question by asking him first the strategy and then asking me the operating model for that. But I think the person, Mr. Samir before me, really set this ground. And I think from this panel, so far I can say that everyone has highlighted one thing. For deploying Gen AI or anything AI-related thing, we have to be data-centric. And from Samir's thing, if I take the 3 main elements there, which is people, technology, people, and process, that is the core. So I will try to elaborate the operating model from these 3 core components. But I also want to pick up one thing which came in the morning from the session was where we said, okay, we have so many components of security, risk, ethical, when I attended the ethical panel where they were talking about the risk and ethics around the AI. From there also, but if I start to summarize my question from the technology part first, I think in a journey so far what we have in the Gen AI space, we have to make sure we are not bringing the whole enterprise down by saying that I need 8,000 components to manage the whole Gen AI applications or AI application. The approach should be take component by component, which is more essential as the right use case based. Make sure you are aligned with the businesses so that you can bring those components as per the business need of that use case, and managing all control functions. In a heavy regulated industry like ours, we cannot just say that, okay, this is one use case I want to deploy, please you do this. We have compliance, we have risk, we have GSOs, I think that's everyone know, we definitely have that also. So all those components, all those different stakeholders when you involve, they all have their own needs. They have to monitor those things as per their needs. So bringing the things component by component and adding or removing as you evolve the use cases. So I will take an example of one very great example of a European bank who deployed 18 components, and based on the 18 components, they were able to deploy 80% of their machine learning and Gen AI use cases in only 3 months. So it just summarized this line by saying that bring things which are essential, make sure those things goes into the production. Saurabh has mentioned that adoption rates are very low, which is a reality. I have been in the GTEx from last 2 days, and I can tell you everyone is saying the year of POC was 2023. I will tell you till 2025 it will be the year of POCs. In any industries, but especially in financial, I will take it a little further. 2026, we will be still in the POC stage. And the reasons for that are very obvious, and we have to mitigate this trializing. Technology really has to be well understood, well learned, well managed by each and every stakeholders. Coming to the second part of people, people component is also very essential. We all know that. And how do we bring, I think in the previous session, somebody mentioned that from their perspective, we like to have a purple teams. I would say bring a task force team who can manage this, upskill that team so that that team can evolve with each and every use case the organization is trying to put into the production. The journey from saying previously in our traditional software's journey of development to production was just a PR. This is not a PR game anymore. This is much broader, much, I would say, not confusing, but still not well read. And the maturity of the market, our ecosystem is still learning. We know McKinsey has gone wrong. And not only McKinsey, a lot of companies in the prediction space has gone wrong in the last 10 years. And I'm expecting more in that space coming, because somebody is saying by 2030 you will have 80%. Somebody is saying in 2040 you will have 80%. Please read those lines carefully. Understand the sample size below what they have written in very fine prints. So people has to understand those things properly. And as we evolve into those journeys, our main task force, definitely I like previous session mentioned, reward those, incentivize those people. Definitely that is one more element. In order to bring those people into any approach which they like to take in any enterprise, definitely you can take the centralized, federated, or decentralized approach, but please keep in mind every approach has its own pros and cons. This technology has to be understood from all those angles, and make sure we are managing those angles thoroughly, and also the corners also very carefully. The last part of processes, traditionally I think risk management, whenever we would deploy something or into the production, they would say, okay guys, we build a procedure for it, there has to be a SOP for it, 10 line items of an SOP saying that policy will be governed under risk management. Or somebody saying, okay, policy will be governed by GSOs regulations and all that. This technology is not that. Make sure you have first at least 5 to 10 internal use cases where you define the checklists and framework for each and every stakeholder who is involved. Whether it is the accountability, because this is the one question which I have seen, nobody has answered yet. Not even the academia has answered this question. Who is accountable to model outputs? We all know, all have said in each and every session, From the event when I landed in Dubai till now, hallucination, hallucination. But nobody said who is going to be accountable for that hallucination in the enterprise setup, who is going to take an accountability if the model gives the wrong answer, which is going to be a brand reputation. You cannot have a bank losing a brand reputation in front of its customers, or you cannot have a GSO losing a face because of the security, data loss, or so things. So design those framework, policies, procedure very carefully, look at it, like I said, even in the corners, so that an operating model can be well established and it is securing you and properly making sure you are adopting your, or increasing your adoption rates for this technology.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Engineer Ahmed, do you believe AI and analytics can only serve the business growth elements, or can it have a strong impact on customer interest and human aspect as well?
Well, it's a good question because actually it depends on how organization position its data and analytics and AI team. You can see or perceive that team as an operation mode. It serves reporting, it serves dashboards, it serves operation requests, this aspect. Or you can perceive it as an IT unit. It's responsible for deploying and building data warehousing and data management and data governance and concerning about quality. Or you can perceive it as revenue generating unit. So if the organization perceives the data and analytics unit as revenue generating units, it reflects on what is needed. And as you said, from a strategic perspective, the story and narrative and all its components should be aligned with each other to serve business KPI. So this is how the organization can perceive it as revenue generating. And another aspect actually Mohammad has talked about, it's about people. And I am seriously talking about not only the people who's developing, the people who's using. I remember 2 years ago we deployed a model, very interesting model for next best sale or next best action for one of the banks in Egypt. It was an amazing model. It gains a lot of results, promising results in POC level. When we deployed the model, we got 0 conversions rate. And why? Because actually the RMs who was actually connecting with the user, when the recommendation comes to them, they think it's a pop-up message, they close it, and they don't act on it. So the model comes to 0 results because of people, they are not trained to fulfill and understand the need of this model to be deployed. So it is strategic perspective and people management.
Thank you, Engineer Ahmed. Thank you so much. Dr. Salah, how can companies utilize DNA to drive business growth?
Thank you. Thank you for this question, and I think it is the main subject of our discussion. You see, first, before answering the question, we should believe that data analytics is a journey, like you said. And as in a journey, we should know where we are today and where we want to be tomorrow. For the target state, yes, we can sit together, build the data analytics vision, convert this vision into strategic goals, and go forward. But how can we know where we are today or where we are standing now? To do this, we should deploy or implement data analytic maturity model. And there are many models for data analytic maturity, but I can mention one of them. I named it also W3H. W3H, it represents 4 stages of this model. What happened in the past, what is happening now, what will happen in the future, and how we can make it happen based on AI. The first question represents the first stage, which is what happened in the past. And this is the reactive phase. We're using simple worksheet, Excel, or simple reports that analyzes the historical data and give us the result of analysis. After the problem happen, we take action after that. And because of that, it's called reactive phase. The more advanced level is what is happening now, which is informative phase. It is analyzing the live data in real time and give you what is happening now, and you can take action on time. The higher level is what will happen in the future. This is the predictive phase. And this is, as you know, depends on the AI algorithms that can predict what will happen according to the analyzing data and tell you what you should do. The action here taken by human. But if we move to the higher level, which is how we can make it happen, which called transformative phase, here we leverage AI to predict the problem and take action to resolve or sort out this issue. By deploying such maturity of data analytics model, we can drive the business growth by data analytics.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. Engineer Komal, what are the best practices for integrating business intelligence tools across different departments to foster a data-driven culture that supports long-term business growth?
Sure, thank you. I would say some of the basics need to be done right. If you want to have a data-driven culture and make sure that the whole organization is using business intelligence effectively, you need to have your data in one central place. You need to have a golden source of truth. Once you have a central data repository, which is purely controlled by data team, you can furnish the entire operational use cases, machine learning, AI use cases. However, the key is that you need to make sure all the data is in one place as a golden source of truth. So there is no confusion, it is effective, you are ensuring that the data is accurate, properly modeled, properly aligned, there are no redundancies, no duplication. It also helps us ensure that when business is using that data, they are not creating silos. They are not creating different versions of the same data which is used or represented in a different manner which gives incorrect information. The second thing I would say is it is very important that if you standardize a BI tool in your organization, as many companies I worked with in my past, a small, big or medium portion of the company has always been using a second or a third BI tool. What happens is when you have such practices, the same report or the same analytics can be made in two different tools which can give two different versions of the information, and when it reaches the management, it is only going to create more confusion and chaos. The third and the most favorite part of my business intelligence and analytics journey is I am a great fan of self-service reporting. The generation and the age we are in today, the practice of building reports and dashboards and having dedicated team just to make reports is quite behind us. Almost every business user today is a very efficient user of Excel and pivots. Most of the modern tools today give you the facility to just drag and drop and create your own reports. It also ensures that you have some flexibility and insights which are created on demand ad hoc by business users as and when needed. Self-service is the key. Even in our current organization, we are driving a very big agenda right now to promote data literacy and do more trainings on the BI tools for the business users so that they can learn how to use the tool. Anything complicated, they can always reach out to the centralized data teams, but we are trying to foster a culture where business can just access, like if, I'm not sure if you guys know, this is one of the Amazon's product which they launched about 10, 11 years ago, where any person from any business, just go to the portal, look for the values, drag and drop, it will create a query and run a report ad hoc. That is where the world is leading to, self-service BI. You have control on your data, but you have flexibility on your reporting. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much. Engineer Saurabh, You, in your role, help organization across multiple industries and geographics modernize their data and analytic ecosystem to address their business needs. What are some common success themes around data analytics modernization that you have observed across the world?
Thanks. So yeah, this is, so I'm talking from my experience across about 400 customers across the globe. So, you know, I was discussing with a few panel members earlier as well. See, the experience and what I see as success in different regions is very, very different. But there are some common themes which I would like to share here, and hopefully maybe some of you can take it back. The first thing is, I'm sure all of you have heard of data products. Yeah, data products. So that is, how do I put it? Today that is the fundamental building block of any kind of data usage, right? And I'll come to it again, but before that. Now, earlier, if you look at the earlier thought process, which I was talking about earlier as well, a lot of organizations in the past have very successfully created data swarms, which means they have dumped a lot of data into their data platforms or big data ecosystems or now in data lakes without necessarily knowing or figuring out a use case to use that data. So one major change that I'm seeing almost across the globe, and I'm talking again right now, as we speak, somebody in Australia, somebody in India, somebody in UK, I mean some customer in UK, the way we are implementing their new data platform, and this is as a part of the data platform modernization strategy, is that from the old platform, we are not bringing all their data. Okay, so let's say they had, whatever, 100 terabytes or whatever data, we are not bringing in everything. We are first defining every single use case that they need, whether it is from a BI and reporting standpoint that you need. So they may have 30,000 reports in the past. So today we are literally sitting and writing down which reports do you need, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, whatever. Based on that, what we are defining is what are the KPIs you need to see. And this is on the reporting front. On machine learning side, again, we are defining what models do you need and for what purpose. You need, you need some predictability in your sales. You need predictability in terms of customer churn or whatever it is, right? The usual use cases. So again, what are your use cases? And on the Gen AI front, for example, the highest number I've seen so far is 300 use cases of Gen AI. This is for a telco customer, of which after multiple churns, we reduced it to 90 use cases. What I'm trying to say is the journey, the planning journey, we are starting from the right-hand side. That we are not bringing in a single, we are not moving a single data source till you have not told us exactly what you're going to use it for. So once we have decided that, based on the use case, we decide on the data products, which are required to fulfill those use cases across BI and reporting, AI/ML, or Gen AI. Based on which data modeling is done, and based on which we are bringing data from the legacy system to the modern data platform. So this, if you ask me in a nutshell, is at least where the more advanced organizations are moving, and wherever we have a chance to influence the strategy, that's what we are doing. So.
I will add 2 points in the discussion what Saurabh said. I agree with you. I think not bringing the data sources from the legacy systems, fine, that might be well for certain industries. For certain industries, it is required from the compliance standpoint. But I can tell you from my 8 years of designing, exactly, from 8 years of designing AI solutions and mapping of those, the first step which we always go into designing is to map the data sources, understand. So one of the use cases one of the banks was trying to implement was, and they had said, okay, we have 80 terabyte of data lying in our warehouses. And during the exercise of 8 months, so this quoting, I know this is quoting from the experience and it is a fact, 8 months we were just doing the mapping exercise and the whole database of 80 terabytes was 20 terabytes, which was useful. Others was just duplication of the sources, duplication of the information, just lying in the database. Nobody ever used it. It's just that somebody was calling a column called ID into 2,000 times. same column, somebody else was calling something. So this is a very good example of modernizing the infrastructure, making sure we have the right data products and properly data source are mapped from there. The second element on top of this, which I would add, is the data quality frameworks. Most of the industries, I think Komal also highlighted, yes, this is a very important element there. But what happens is that it gets missed there in a long time. People are not, there is no remediation processes established. People do not report the incidents of the data that, okay, this was the wrong report, I got the number, but this number was something else. And you never know the problem is not in the report, because generally the decision maker and the developers will be interacting, and they will be interacting in emails. So nobody has ever reported the data quality issue, and you will always if you do the RCA, you will find it in the data source, somebody just coded in some other way, and that's how it led to a data number which was aggregated in a wrong way. So I think these are the another elements I will add into this.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I want to continue with you for last question, please. I want to ask you about generative AI is starting to boom and now hitting each and every industry. What's the Gen AI story so far in the region, in your industry, please?
Okay, so that's a tough one because because I said financial industry will be in the POC state till 2026 and take it. And I'm sure if McKinsey has gone wrong, I can also go wrong. So please do not quote me that I said we will be there till 2026. But one thing I think we all have to understand, Gen AI has bought us wow. But everyone is still figuring out how. That is my take on this question, and that's my take on from last 2 days. So far in the GITEX, everyone is wowed by the technology. This can be done. I can put in your fraud management system. I can put it in your GSO monitoring systems. I can pop up your alerts. Okay, hold on. How? Put that, at least show one use case which you have done. I can tell you from last 1 year I'm working on this whole space, and I haven't seen one vendor which said that, or one consultant or any one company who can say that, yes, I can just take a raise of hand from you guys. Anyone has a use case in the production? For Gen AIs?
In the region or outside the region?
In the region.
Outside we do.
In the region. Question was about the region. So that is definitely, I think maybe I might take that question from you, answer. Was it in a financial industry?
No, it was in telecom. It was in telecom.
So,
much easier, frankly.
So for us, it is very difficult. Financial industry deployments are very critical. And when we go into, like I said in my previous answer also, I have 10 stakeholders, 10 sign-offs, and sign-off starts from the bottom till the top of the building. If I have a 75-floor building, trust me, I have to go to even to the 76th floor also, which does not exist to get the sign-off. So the adoptions, like we said, are critical, and we are trying to make sure we reach there as soon as possible.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. I think we run out of time, but I need Engineer Ahmed to close it.
I can add him.
Yes,
my
please.
experience, actually, last 18 months, I went through more than 20 POCs and pilots for amazing generative AI use cases. Okay, after 18 months, one use case in production. One use case. But this is not the issue. The issue is I cannot actually, after the investments that I had, I cannot accomplish successful business case that this use case is good for business. No, it's not good for business. It cannot return the cost more than 5 years because the huge cost of this resource. So, yani, after what it can do, how it can do, the next question I actually facing right now is it really a successful business case or not?
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your enlightening us about these topics and sharing your thoughts. Thank you all and I appreciate it. Thank you.
So can we have a big round of applause for all the key panelists?
I would like to invite all the panelists for a group photograph. I would like to ask Mitali to present certificate of participation. First, we have Komal. So first we have Komal. Come on guys, huge round of applause for Komal. Next we have Saurabh. Come on guys, huge round of applause. Next we have moderator of the session, Mahmoud Allam. Come on guys, huge round of applause for Mahmoud. So next we have Ahmed Samir Elons. Huge round of applause for Ahmed. Next we have Mohammad Shooqur. Give a huge round of applause for Shooqur. And at last we have Dr. Salahuddin. Huge round of applause for Salahuddin.